You're listening to the Angry Designer Podcast, where we help frustrated graphic designers crush the industry chaos, ditch the social BS, and build badass, rewarding careers that actually pay. Now powered by Wix Studio. What's up, Angry Designers? Today, we've got our next awesome guest at Creative South. I was just practicing.
That was just a warm.
We have got our good friend, Rourke.
Yay!
Awesome. Your agency's name. I love the logo, but what's the name?
Blue Cyclops.
That's it.
Blue Cyclops.
Right? And the icon is a blue cyclops.
Yes.
I was jealous.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to steal that for ourselves.
That's very cool.
Well, you know what's so interesting about it is it's been my avatar, my logo for so long.
Oh shit!
Like going back to college.
Yeah.
But then it was like it came to me in college. I was like, I started creating this like Blue Cyclops poster. The poster then became my logo, then became my website. And, people kept asking, where did it come from? Like, it just came to me.
Yeah.
I was going back and looking at old drawings from as a kid. And I realized I had a imaginary friend that was a 50-foot blue Cyclops named Bob.
Oh, shit.
And mind you,
cool.
I was already calling my Cyclops Bob.
Yeah.
Already calling him that.
Oh, really?
So it was like subconsciously just like coming back from my childhood.
Yeah.
So it was just perfect.
Hey, it's what makes us weird as kids, makes us
Yeah.
successful
Yes.
as adults,
That's
right?
so
Well,
true.
especially in this space anyway. I think, you embrace your inner weirdness to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, what? I think too many people run away from that.
This is true. Yeah.
We were just talking to, some awesome ladies this morning from California. And they were going on about, how they weren't sure how to pull back or not.
Mm.
And it was like they have a whole punk vibe, punk history. And I'm like, you got to own that shit.
Oh,
right? I remember not embracing that earlier on. And I was so freaking miserable.
Yep. Yeah, I still remember the first time I came to Creative South because I've been into every Creative South since 2013.
Yeah, I actually thought for a little while you were Big Mike.
Yeah, like,
right? Because you've
the
been here
beard
so
is
much.
the thing that's missing, right? That's the only thing. But like I've been here so long. The first year I came, I had no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is a conference, a design conference. I need to look presentable.
Yeah.
I came with a polo shirt, khaki pants.
Wow.
God.
And as soon as I got there, I saw and it's the same landscape that you're seeing today.
Yeah.
Beards, hats, t-shirts, jean jackets. I was like,
So original.
No. Like I freaked out. I was like, as soon as they gave me a t-shirt, I went right into the restroom and changed. I was like, I had to change. And the crazy thing was I didn't bring anything to wear except for polos and khakis.
Oh, no.
So I had to go run to the store. I had to go find stuff. Like I had a I Love New York t-shirt on. Somehow I got a Goodwill. It was crazy.
Yeah, but the ironic thing is though that probably would have stood out more than the black t-shirts and jeans that
This
were
is true.
sporting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So let's talk about business.
Yeah.
So you said something really cool. You have now hired on a project manager.
Yep.
Because business growth is good.
Yep.
However, the times are kind of funny right now, and you're like both, saying you're busy enough to maintain this, but then of course it's also getting a little hungry out there to try to get work. So what are you feeling like? Like, how did it get to the point where now you realize you need to bring in someone else? Because that's an out-of-pocket expense.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We started working with our project manager December last year.
Yep.
And it was crazy because my wife has tried to be a project manager. She hated it.
Yeah.
She's like, I want nothing to do with your business. It's been a thing.
Funny like that.
Yeah. But one of our teammates, one of my team members, they were like, hey, I know someone's a project manager. She's looking for freelance work. I can introduce you. One call, 20 minutes, and she was on board helping us and everything.
Oh,
yep.
See, cool.
It was the easiest hiring process I ever had.
Yeah.
But my whole team is freelancers.
Yes.
Nobody is employees.
Yep. It's
freedom and everything. I think my project manager works maybe 20 hours a week for us.
Yeah.
I've got designers who work from 5 hours to 30 hours, just depending on, what we're working on, what our needs are, what their needs are, and everything like that.
So the brilliance here, of course, is that it's like, you can expand or contract.
Yeah.
Based
Exactly.
on the market, but your brand still stays intact.
Exactly. Yep.
Speaking to some people last night, they said that, what happens a lot out here is that agencies, they pop up overnight.
Mm-hmm.
They grow from 0 to 5 overnight.
Yep.
But then they realize that, maintaining 5 salaries and getting the work in this isn't what it was, as easy as they thought.
Yep.
And then they disappear a year
Exactly.
later, 2 years later. So what you're doing is actually brilliant.
Yeah.
Right?
Thank you.
Yeah. So so here's a question. How do you take ownership of having a business if your team is comprised of freelancers?
Yeah. So the crazy thing is with us is our team, even though everybody's freelancers, we actually work like we're a team.
Yep.
Like if anyone who comes in and sees like what we're doing, they would think that, everybody's employees, everything like that. And we all work that way. Like it happens to mesh and synchronize and everything. But the good thing, what helps out is a lot of times like people get sick. Or people get busy with like other things. And so we're able to like move things around. Or like right now you're talking about lean times, right?
Yep.
I already started working to where we're now starting to contract a bit, where we're still like, I talked to the team, everybody's still going to be working on internal projects, even if we don't have client work. Because I built a runway to where I can still hire, even if it's just like $500 a month they're making from us, at least it's something that they're making during these lean times and they don't have to worry.
Yeah.
Like I make sure that my team is first.
Yes.
I defend them when clients get too crazy.
Yeah, God knows that.
I pay them first.
Yep.
Like I don't take any money out of the business until I make sure all of the invoices have been paid.
Yeah.
Like that's the way that I want to do it, because I never want to have to say to one of my teammates, hey, it's going to be another week before I can pay you.
Yeah.
I do everything. Everybody gets paid first of the month, everybody sends invoices first of the month and I pay within net 15.
Yep.
Sometimes I pay as soon as they send me the invoice. Nice. It just depends on what money's in the accounts.
Yeah.
But I don't pay myself until all the client invoices have been paid and all the team has been paid.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's great, actually.
Yeah.
So, when freelancers commit to you, is it like, let's go down this road because this is actually really interesting. So when they commit to you for, to join your team or to be like an offset, do they give you a discount?
No. So what we do is we set an hourly rate.
Yep.
And I have a max that I can spend.
Yeah.
And I'm very upfront. Whenever I talk to somebody about possibly working with us, I tell them, listen, this is the range that I can afford.
Yep.
If as business, booms, I can increase your amount. Usually like every 6 months to a year, like I'll increase the hourly rate that I pay people. And, this is what I can afford. We don't make a lot of money. I'll be honest with you. We're not making $1 million a year. We're not one of those big agencies.
Yeah.
But the one thing I can always offer you is that I will give you work even when we don't have client work.
Yeah. Cool.
I find side projects. I find internal projects. Sometimes half of the invoices are internal projects.
Yep.
And so I do that because I want to take care of my team. I want to also push their creativity. I want them to learn. And so I buy courses, I buy subscription stuff for everybody to learn and to increase their skill sets.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to start learning animation or somebody wants to learn Framer, I find a course and I buy it for them. I give it to them. Even though they're not an employee, they're just still a freelancer. Yeah. They could tell me tomorrow, like, hey, I'm leaving, bye.
Yeah.
But still, I want to make sure that I'm helping them. I'm fostering that growth.
Very cool.
If I could make everybody employees, I would do it. I don't make enough money to be able to do that.
So there is some advantages here because as freelancers, obviously I'm assuming would take care of their own expenses, but then they can write off their own expenses.
Exactly.
So it's to their best interest. And you're like guaranteed like a retainer basis?
It's not a retainer. There's no like guaranteed amount of work or money. No matter what, I will try to give them work.
Yes.
I think the thing is for me, I'm open to share numbers. So I think the smallest invoices I've ever seen from one of our team is like $500 a month.
Yep.
And that was because they worked I think only a few hours or something like that because they got sick or their kids got sick. And it's just like, at least it's an extra $500
100%.
they might not have had from other client
and they didn't
work.
have to hunt for and go through the whole process.
I'm the one doing all that stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
All right, designers, let's cut the bull. How many times have you had a killer website designed only to watch it fall apart because of code or developer telling you no? Or maybe you've held back from web design altogether thinking it's just too complicated and too technical or totally out of your wheelhouse. Either way, it's time for a change. Wix Studio is designed for designers, removing the barriers that limits your designs. Whether you're tired of developers watering down your ideas or too intimidated by the technical side of web, Wix Studio puts the creative power back in your hands. No code required. With a drag and drop interface that feels designer intuitive, plus no code animations and even AI powered tools, you can create fully custom websites that match your vision. Every pixel, every detail. And if you're worried about the learning curve, don't be. Wix Studio is designed to feel as intuitive as your favorite design tools. Some designers here even say more so. That means you can jump right in and focus on what you do best, designing badass, brand-aligned websites that'll take your business to the next level. So whether you've had enough of developers holding you back, or you're ready to finally step into web design, check out wixstudio.com and take control. That's wixstudio.com. Go and take back web design for graphic designers.
We talked about a client that kind of client relationship kind of went south.
Yep.
What was that experience like? That was pretty difficult.
It was definitely very difficult. Like I've had clients from hell. We've all had clients from hell, you know, and it never gets easier.
There's a podcast based on it.
Yeah, right. It never gets easier when you have to deal with that. And it actually, in hindsight, I could have handled the situation way better than I did. I was going through stuff personally, and the client wasn't understanding that, or wasn't willing to, like, hey, actually, let's take a break. Let's not jump into this. And so it kind of put me in a wrong mindset. But at the same time, they were gaslighting. They were trying to gaslight me.
Shit.
I had my project manager on the call, and she's like, that's not what they've said. I've got the records. It was a really tough situation. And ultimately, there was no way we could work together. So we had, we both agreed, that we had to part ways, that we had to leave. And that was it.
Yeah.
After our last call, 30 minutes later, all files over to them. A week later, Slack disconnected, Figma disconnected, and we haven't heard from them. There has been no, I don't know if there's any ill will or anything like that. Unfortunately, 3 days later, we had a client that went on pause too. So it doubled up the amount of financial hurt, and everything. So,
Jeez, those are never fun.
Yeah.
Especially, when you have commitments to employees, and when you have good ones, you don't want to lose them, or team members, freelancers. So, how do you overcome this? Because you've only got so much savings.
Yeah.
You try to find new make-ready work for them.
Yeah. Well, so this is the interesting part with this. This is my third time going through this.
Yeah.
Blue Cyclops has been around since 2016.
Cool.
When I first started it, I had two retainer clients.
Yeah.
Paid all the bills. I was like, oh yeah, I got money coming. I'm good.
Yeah.
We worked together for 6 to 7 months, and then literally one after the other, a month apart, canceled.
Wow.
Just completely canceled.
Oh,
one was being bought out by another company, so they didn't need our services anymore. The other one, my main point of contact had left. And so there wasn't a relationship with the new person that took their spot.
Yeah.
So unfortunately that happens. And you just have to roll with the punches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I had this happen again during the pandemic. Where I've fallen into this trap where I become too reliant on retainer work.
Yeah.
And it's something a lot of freelancers do, a lot of agencies do, is they become so reliant on retainer work that they don't look for projects. They don't try and increase their lead gen until something like this happens, and then it's okay, I got to turn that up. I got to start looking.
Yeah.
So
we're definitely in that boat. I rely on our retainers, and and knock on wood, they're still working for us. But you're right. Things could change pretty quickly if all of a sudden, within a quarter, we could go from being profitable to not.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it not just with what I do, but when I worked at agencies. I saw an agency where they were thriving, and then in literally 2 month span, they lost, I think it was 4 or 5 projects. Yeah. They just completely got canceled.
Yep.
And so they were relying on that money, and then they had to lay off 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
So it happens. This is the ebbs and flows of our business.
Agreed.
we have to accept that there are going to be these times.
Yeah.
And we could sit there and just wallow in self-pity.
Yeah.
We could cry about it and whine about it on social media,
true.
which we have all done at some point.
No, they go to Reddit for this. That's what they do.
Right?
They go to Reddit and bitch about it all
but
the time.
Instead, in those times where you don't have client work, you create client work.
Yes,
side
absolutely.
projects.
Yeah. Work on your own stuff.
Exactly.
Get your own brand up, put out your own content.
Yeah. My most successful project, like that has brought in the most revenue, where clients talk, like any potential client, they're like, "Oh, I saw that project, I loved it."
Yep, exactly.
Is a side project.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I did the math, and it's brought in over $250,000.
Shit.
So, like I did it in 2019, and every couple of years I expand upon it, I update it, and with all those years, it's brought in over $250,000.
It's really good, dude.
Yeah,
that's good. And that's a side project.
Yeah, it's a side project.
Yeah, I love that.
I really believe that client work does not lead to other client work unless it's that client.
Yes.
Side projects is something that you're more passionate about.
Yeah.
No matter what, we're not passionate about client work.
Yeah.
Because clients always throw a wrench into it. We love our clients.
Yep.
They're our best friends.
Yeah.
But they definitely can throw wrenches into it, and they can,
100%.
Cause our creativity to tank.
Yeah.
With side projects, they're ours. We are putting our full creativity into it, our full passion into it. And so it shows, and people can they see it.
Yes.
The potential clients see it, and that's where they go to. Half of of our new site that we're currently working on is side projects.
Yeah.
Because that's what people want to
How do you get
see.
side projects though out of freelancers? Because how intertwined are they to your brand?
Oh,
Like you're acting as creative director, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. So like, for instance, we just got done doing 2 side projects for the new case studies.
Yep.
And what I did was I used ChatGPT to help me come up with a brief. We actually trained ChatGPT to act as a client.
Oh,
that was the best part of this.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Like, we trained it. We were like, hey, so this is how like a client normally would interact.
Yeah.
We gave it different personas.
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, this is what we want to do. We want to do a brand for a project management SaaS company, and we want you to act as a client. It's a small startup, only about 5 to 10 people, and you are a hungry founder who is looking for blah, blah, blah. And it ended up generating a brief. I went through, did some iterations on it and everything. And then I took it to my team, and we started working on it. Just like that. It's just just like what a client would fill out a branding questionnaire for us. ChatGPT filled out the branding questionnaire, and we were able to treat it as though it was an actual project.
That's actually a really good idea.
Right?
Damn.
Cool. And the best part is, we submitted the work to ChatGPT to review.
Yeah, that's right.
And it gave us the feedback. And there was, at one point, it wasn't with that project in particular, another one where it flipped it on its head. It actually gave us a curveball. It said, we actually don't like this direction at halfway through the project. We want to go back to an original sketch that you had and do that instead. It did a client curveball, a real world curveball that I'm sure a lot of people have seen before.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell them to do that.
Yeah,
I didn't tell it. It just did it from doing its own research and everything like that. So
can you imagine what that prompt would be like? Yeah. Please act as a ridiculous client who knows no idea what the hell they want. They change their mind.
That was actually added in there.
Yeah, it's afterwards, right?
Yep.
Well, that's actually a really smart way to use chat. And the funny thing is, so this is not real client work. This is your own personal projects, and it was ChatGPT work. So, you're using chat. That's actually brilliant.
Yeah. It's like ChatGPT was not part of the actual creation process.
Yeah.
It was just part of the brief. It was part of the feedback.
Right.
That's all it was. And that's the thing. For me, it's okay to use AI as long as you are still the one creating the pieces.
It's a tool.
It's a tool.
That's exactly.
It is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So freelancers struggle all the time because they're always looking for projects.
Yep.
They're always looking for customers. You have a different business model. What kind of advice can you give freelancers? Is this common, what you're doing, or is this something that they should pitch to smaller agencies, smaller consultants? I think it's a brilliant concept for freelancers personally, but
So you mean for side projects or what?
No. Just your business model using freelancers.
Oh, okay.
Because I know freelancers in general struggle always with business.
Yeah.
But this is, whether it's a week's worth of work, a month's worth of work, ongoing work? Like what advice can you give to freelancers to embrace something like this?
Yeah. So it's actually interesting because if you actually look at the industry, most agencies are actually doing this.
Yeah.
Really? The thing is that they
the hell aren't we?
They use freelancers all the time for overflow and certain things, right? And when my first job out of college, we were contractors at the agency.
Yeah.
There was no employees. It was all contractors. And I was like, I like that, except you're working a full-time job. You're working 40 hours a week and everything, overtime, all that stuff. And I was like, I actually want to do it different. Like, I love working with freelancers. You know, I've been a freelancer for so long. Why don't I start bringing people in? It started with bringing in one designer to help with podcast designs and everything. And then eventually he started working on client work with me. And we were like, okay, we like this arrangement.
Yeah.
And now at any time we have between 5 to 12 freelancers working on projects, depending on capacity, depending on like what it is.
Yeah.
And it allows us to be so much more flexible than a traditional agency.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, most people have to stay in specific wheelhouses, right?
Yes.
Branding and web, illustration, graphic design, product design, all that, right?
Yeah.
When you're an agency that uses freelancers as your team, you can bring in other freelancers to support in areas that you don't normally can do.
Right.
I'm a traditionally brand, web, and illustrator, and I can't do motion. I can't do animation.
Right.
I've got 2 people on my team who can do that, and I can bring them in for projects, internal or external. I have a copywriter I can bring in to help write not only blog posts for us, but also help with copy for websites.
Yes.
I can bring them in whenever I can.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably about 3 or 4 people in the core team that we're working together like every single week.
Yes.
Like we're working, like we have an all hands meeting. We all talk. We all like talk about like, any struggles we're having both with Blue Cyclops and with clients and everything. And it's a lot of fun. Like it feels like a real agency. The only difference is everybody has their own thing. Yeah. They all freelance. They all, some people have full-time jobs even.
Yeah.
And they do this on the side.
Right.
Jeez.
So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Do you ever have any reliability issues?
Yes.
Oh,
we definitely had a few people over time where we had issues with not being able to deliver on time, or they were a little bit flaky.
Yeah.
And so that was a little bit difficult. Unfortunately, that happens though, because even if you hire an employee, that could happen too.
Yeah.
It's just easier when it's a freelancer.
Yeah.
So then what's the vetting process for freelancers?
So what we do is we usually do a onboarding period of about a month usually. And we do some internal projects first. Then we'll test them out on some client work, and we'll see like how they do, see their process, see how they fit well with us. Because the biggest thing is coming in, bringing freelancers in, is they come in there thinking, oh, okay, it's just like traditional freelancer agency where it's like, oh, I just do a quick project, I'm out. Versus us where it's like we're in Slack all day, every day. We're like acting like a traditional agency. And so some people don't make it. They're like, this isn't what I'm looking for, I'm out.
Yeah.
It's happened a couple times. It doesn't hurt me when that happens because it's not for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
you got other people that could pick up the slack.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of good.
And there's been times where I had to jump in, to pick up the slack or to do certain client projects. Yeah. And that's okay. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
If tomorrow, knock on wood, we had to go so lean to where it's just me and my project manager working.
Yeah.
We'll have to do that.
Yeah.
But the goal is to be able to have as much of the team going as possible.
Yeah.
So
cool.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So, it sounds like you're juggling a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we had an interesting thing that I discovered last night from you, and I've known you for a little while now. So you're juggling all this, and you've got a project manager to come keep everything in line. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And then I find out through this conversation, it's because you have ADD.
Yep.
Right?
ADHD.
ADHD.
Yep.
So, sorry, yeah, what did I say?
ADD.
ADD. Did I just mess that up?
Disorder?
What is ADD?
So ADD was what it was originally. They used to have it in 2 categories.
Okay. I thought maybe I insulted you.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Can you imagine?
So
said he's an animal lover.
Yeah, no.
So late at night.
It used to be that you had ADD, and let me just phrase this: I am not a medical professional.
Yep.
Do not seek my advice on anything. I do that same thing on my podcast. I'm like, I'm not a professional at that. So they used to have ADD, and then they would have ADHD.
Okay.
That was in the 90s to early 2000s. They made the switch to where now it's just ADHD.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
Okay.
there's no you can't divide it up. There's no way to say that this person has the same ADHD as this person.
Got it.
It's like 36 flavors except for it's 10,000 flavors.
Yeah, okay,
Everybody's different.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So interestingly enough, and we'll talk about his meds and the fun name that his meds have. But okay, so what's that like then? So, because you own an agency and you have this. And I mean, to me, we always joke about it. It's just like, it's hard to keep focus and you're just like all over the place. I mean, in one sense, it would seem like it's the life we live.
Yeah.
But I mean, we just joke about it. You're actually living it. So what is that?
So you ever get into that flow state where you're designing, you're in the groove and everything like that? Times that by 10.
Yeah.
So
are you saying like you can focus?
I can hyper focus to where it goes from night to day or day to night.
Okay.
Like there's been times where if I'm just in my living room and I'm working on something at night, I'll look at the time and it's like 9:30 at night. And next thing I know, it's 2:30 in the morning.
Jeez.
And I have no concept of time drifting or anything
totally
like that.
in it.
I'm just going and going and going. And it wasn't until last year, my good friend Peter Del Tondo, who is here with Career South, he finally convinced me, dude, you need to go and get diagnosed. Because he knew just on our conversations. Like I'd always assumed that I had it. My mom would always say, you don't have it.
Of course.
You
would always say that.
Oh,
to a
yeah.
kid, of course.
Yeah.
But, it's something where for me, if there's something that I like I latch onto, I will hyper fixate on that. And it could be hobbies, it could be subjects in school, anything like that. And so, like, for instance, Magic the Gathering, the trading card game, right? That was a hobby of mine when I first moved back to Georgia from San Diego. And I hyper fixated on it.
Yeah.
I ended up spending over $1,000 a month on buying cards.
Oh, shit.
Like it got bad.
Yeah.
And then once we had our son, I realized, I can't be doing this anymore. And I start to rethink it. I'm like, how many cards did I buy? How much did I spend?
We're
talking over $10,000.
It's just like you're clueless. You're not seeing any of
you don't
that.
see it.
Yeah.
And even my wife, she sees it a lot where I will continuously bring up the same topic again and again because in my head, I'm going through that again and again. And the other thing too is, at least with my flavor of ADHD, is I can literally have multiple thoughts going on at the same time.
Yeah.
So like we could be having a conversation. This side of the head is thinking about something at home. This side of the head, while I'm talking, is also thinking about the next thing I want to say. So it can get very confusing very quickly.
Crazy.
Yep.
Wow, dude. And then here's the fun part. Your meds.
Yeah.
Let's talk about these.
Yeah.
Wait, tell them what you told me last night.
Yeah.
So I went through different types of meds, and the one I'm currently on, I remember when I picked it up from the pharmacy, I go in because I never saw the name of it.
Yeah.
They just like, okay, you're going to have this many milligrams of this medication. And they told me the brand name. They didn't tell me the medical name.
Yep.
The first 4 letters of that name spell meth. And I brought this.
I mean, it's not funny, but it is.
Yeah. No, I actually brought it up to the nurse practitioner. I was like,
is this right?
Like this, like that scared me. I hesitated for a bit.
Yeah.
And she's like, she literally with not straight face, the meth users wish they had that. And I was like, that makes me feel so much better. Right.
Yeah.
But that's because the chemistry of people's brain who have ADHD is they need stimulant.
Yes.
They have to have stimulant. So I take that in the morning when I wake up.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't know this, but I go and take a caffeine supplement halfway through the day to extend it. Because like even right now, I haven't taken it.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Like I'm tired. And so I know that I need to take it whenever next time I get some water.
Yeah.
But if I don't do that, then I start to get drained midday and everything because I also don't want to take too much of the medication itself.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Wow. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
So in this case, then what you experience isn't so much lack of focus, but it's almost the opposite effect, and it's hyper focus. And you get fixated.
Yes and no. So it's hyper focus, but also it's you bounce around.
Yeah,
So
okay.
there's moments
and that's what I thought
that's the
traditionally.
problem.
Yes.
Yeah. So it could be, and you see this on Instagram Reels all the time about people talking about ADHD, where you literally like you take a bowl into the kitchen to wash it, right? Then you see something else and you go to that. And you start doing that, and you're like, "Oh, I got to get that ball. Oh, wait, I got to do this first."
And you leave like a tornado trail right behind you everywhere you go.
There's even you ever seen the show Malcolm in the Middle?
Yeah.
Right. There's an episode where how the father, he does that exact same thing to where he was going to change a light bulb. Next thing you know, he's removing the engine out of his car. And I have never related more to a character on TV until that moment.
Brilliance.
Yeah.
Okay. Shit.
Yeah, it drives my wife crazy.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah,
and maybe some of your employees.
Oh yeah, yeah. My project manager has definitely had some issues with that, where I will say, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and next thing you know, there's like 3 other versions of that plan going.
Yeah.
But that's unfortunately that just is what happens.
Yeah.
So with this superpower, or what you've turned into a superpower, and your awesome team, what's the future look like?
The future is that hopefully this time next year we will be double the size that we are.
Oh, sweet.
I'm looking to hit 500,000 revenue this year, even with like how the economy is.
Yep.
Still going to work to hit that goal. And possibly put on a business workshop next year here at Creative South.
Nice.
Oh,
really? Nice.
We're
awesome.
There's brief conversations about that, doing like some sort of business workshop around a branding agency side
nice.
work.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's important. I think that is huge.
That's a killer
value.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I'll be excited to do that one next year.
Yeah.
I'll be a heckler in the back row.
Yeah.
To try to derail you.
I'll appreciate it.
Rocky, dude, I'm glad we did this.
Yes, this is
so
great.
thank you for coming on.
Yes.
And here you were over the first time in person, like podcast.
Oh yeah.
Dude, you're a rock star.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, totally. Yeah.
All right, everybody. I hope you got some really cool insights into this one. I think it's brilliant, this idea about, using freelancers and incorporating that into a new business model.
Yeah.
Man, this is brilliant, dude. And I hope freelancers got a whole new way of thinking about how they can acquire some new clients, new business, new long-term work. Finding people like Rocky. All right, where can they find your website?
www.bluecyclops.co.
And you do have an Instagram account?
Yep. I would just go with @Rourke.
Okay.
Easiest way.
Yeah. Rocky Rourke.
Yes.
All right, my friend. Thank you very much for this.
Yes.
Thank you.
My name is Massimo.
My name is Sean.
And you are?
Rocky Rourke.
Stay creative.
Stay angry.